So is there any chance Tony Stark is actually coming back to the MCU? This has been a persistent rumor for a really long time online that Robert Downey Jr. could once again return to the MCU as Tony Stark. Now some of the Marvel brass have finally chimed in on this, and I have to say guys, it might not be the news you wanted to hear. Well, probably one of the most emotional moments in the MCU so far is when Tony Stark gave the famous I am Iron Man moment in Avengers Endgame and basically saved everyone in the universe. This gave Downey's character one heck of an exit, but ever since that day, fans have been wondering if Tony Stark could return and would Robert Downey Jr. once again play the character. Now, Downey has indicated on multiple occasions he's actually done with it, though he has also said never say never when asked about a potential return. This has led to a lot of persistent rumors that an Iron Man variant could be part of the upcoming multiverse saga, most definitively Secret Wars. Now, the nature of a multiverse makes it certainly possible that Iron Man exists elsewhere in the multiverse, and he does look like Robert Downey Jr. The question really becomes, does this cheapen the sacrifice that Tony gave us at the end of Endgame, which I think is really key to everybody who was involved in that project? And it appears Marvel might actually have a position on this. Now recently, Marvel VP of Production and Development, Stephen Broussard, was talking to IO9, and he seemed to confirm that RDJ will not be coming back anytime soon in the MCU. This is what he had to say. Well, I think one of the meta-narratives of Phase 4 was about new characters. It was about new people stepping into mantles. If you look at, like, Cassie getting a suit, Kate Bishop in Hawkeye, new characters being introduced like Jack in Werewolf by Night, after first 10 years of Marvel storytelling, torches are being passed, like with Robert Downey Jr. no longer being on the table, and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a new generation stepping to the forefront, which again has always been what's happened in the comics. Now, listening to this quote, I have to take a lot of things away. But first and foremost, Broussard wasn't directly addressing any rumors about Robert Downey Jr.'s potential return. He was just mostly talking to how they're focused on some of these new characters taking over the mantles. Additionally, I don't think Marvel would give us any clues that Robert Downey Jr. was returning for Secret Wars, even if he was. This would be a massively huge moment, and not something Marvel would clue us in early if at all possible. Leaking that would completely ruin a potential massive surprise, and despite what he has to say here, I think there's still a lot up in the air for Secret Wars. I've said many times on this channel, the only way Marvel Studios ever beats that Endgame box office is to go bigger. And in Secret Wars, the best way to go bigger is to bring back some of those big faces. I honestly do believe Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Scarlett Johansson will return for that movie in some way, shape, or form. You saw how a version of Black Widow from another reality ended up with a new home in What If, and I do believe that was a little bit of a seed for exactly what's going to happen in the MCU moving forward. Obviously, Marvel keeps their plans close to the chest, and we're going to have to wait a really long time before we finally find out in Secret Wars, but I would not be surprised at all if Robert Downey Jr. does indeed return to the role in the not-so-distant future.